superb shot off a pretty good ball.
His first 100 against Australia, his second, but what a good one. What a good young player he is.
India lift the World Cup. After 28 years, the party started in the dressing room.
Hi, Yuvi. So, Yuvi, this is the obvious question first. You were the star of the 2011 World Cup, and you also battling health problems during that. How do you go about it?
Well, obviously, I had to keep my health issues aside because I was struggling a bit in South Africa when it all started. That was just a month before the World Cup. So I start to cough a little bit of, I had a little bit of blood in my phlegm, and I just kept on ignoring it because I had tried to have a little bit of breathing issues as well. But because the World Cup was coming in, I just thought that, let's forget all this and focus on the World Cup because we haven't won in 28 years. And, it's happening in India. Obviously, the pressure was on. So just really focus on the game and we'll see how it goes after the World Cup.
Yeah, but must be tough emotionally and physically, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think as I was battling some personal issues as well because my form wasn't great before the World Cup. And I had about 4 or 5 injuries before the World Cup. I broke my wrist. I had like 2 fractures. I had 2 fractures in my finger and my hand. So it was a major injury. And I broke my neck in between. I had a C4, C5 disc bulge in my neck, which really bothered me throughout the World Cup. And, so my body was just like falling apart. So I think I was just trying to keep my body together for the World Cup because I wasn't in great form, as I just said before it. So I was just like, just trying to keep it all together, basically.
Yeah, and then you play this important role as an all-rounder. It's not just, you didn't just focus on your batting. While going through all this, you had to focus on your batting and your bowling, and you took some crucial wickets, but how important is an all-rounder in a World Cup squad?
Well, all-rounder is important in any World Cup squad. I think I can talk for me that I was actually the main left-arm spinner in the team then. Although I consider myself as a part-timer, but I was bowling 7 to 10 overs every game in the 50-over format. Format was different that time. 5 fielders were outside. Now 5 fielders are inside, so it's harder for a part-timer to bowl. But I was bowling regularly and was helping the team. I was like, I was not getting big runs. I was getting like 40s and 50s and 30s, but I was like picking wickets and obviously always wanted to contribute in my fielding. I think all-rounder is very important for any team. And you have that process that, okay, if I don't fire with the bat, I can do something with the ball. I can do something on the field. Because every day you're not going to score runs. Every day you're not going to pick up wickets. But all-rounder always has the advantage to do something, I would say, magical on the field. And, change the game for the team.
Right, and you're an amazing fielder also. So in that context, this 2023 World Cup, who do you think is that best all-rounder player right now for the Indian team?
See, I think if you look at the all-rounders we have Yuzvendra Chahal, we have Akshar Patel. We have a lineup which is very deep in batting. I feel that can really contribute. They've got the bowl as well. Their main bowlers, Akshar and Jadeja. And I think where we are looking good is Jasprit Bumrah is back because I think that skill was lacking in the pace department. So, 2 all-rounders coming in at 6 and 7, and then we have Jasprit Bumrah coming back. So we're looking good. I had a few concerns before the Asia Cup because there were a lot of injuries in the team. But now team is looking solid. But winning an Asia Cup is is not something which proves that you're going to win the World Cup, but it definitely proves that India is in good form.
Could you think in a World Cup in India, off spinner like Ashwin would have been crucial, or
Unfortunately, you don't have an off spinner, as you said. Ideally you should have an off spinner, but more than Ashwin, I feel leaving out Yuzvendra Chahal, I feel could be a mistake, or could be a worry, because I felt that maybe just to keep the guy in the squad. And leg spinner is something who will always take wickets for you. He's always a game changer. Obviously, Kuldeep is bowling really well. He's outstanding right now. But Yuzvendra Chahal would have been quite dangerous. Maybe, one day if the wicket is slower or the ball's turning on a wicket rather than playing. Because with Hardik, it gives you a balance to play a third seamer as well, right?
yeah,
So instead of the fourth seamer, you could have played Yuzvendra Chahal. So I felt probably that's the only thing which is a question mark for me. But that's going to happen in every World Cup. 2003 World Cup, there was no VVS Lakshman, and 2007 World Cup, certain player must be missing. And then same thing with 2011 World Cup, like Rohit Sharma was not there. So, everybody has their opinions, and that's just my opinion. But I felt Yuzvendra Chahal should have been there. Yeah.
So you're saying other than
Especially because, sorry to interrupt you, because we are playing in India. Playing in Asian country where the ball might spin on certain days, on certain wickets.
right. So according to you, we got the best 15 barring Chahal.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. And also Rohit Sharma went on. That's the bowling department and other things. So Rohit Sharma said that since Yuvraj Singh era, we haven't had a proper number 4 batsman. We can't identify a number 4 batsman. Why is that? And what does it take to be a number 4 batsman, and the importance of a number 4 batsman in a cricket team?
See, I think a number 4 batsman is a very crucial position. Okay, because when you have openers, if they get out, which eventually some game, you will have fall of 2 wickets. A number 4 batsman needs to have a technique of, leaving the ball, playing the short ball well, trying to create a partnership, and then going on from there. And unfortunately, since I got dropped from the team, they experimented that with Ambati Raidu. I think what mistake they made was, I think he got a 90 odd in New Zealand. And then against Australia, just before the World Cup, he didn't get runs. They just dropped him last minute. And if you see the number 4 batsman in the last World Cup, I remember the highest run by number 4 batsman in the last World Cup was 48 by Hardik Pandya. And then they kept on changing Vijay Shankar, and then they got him Rishabh with no experience. You can't go to a World Cup with guys don't having experience on their hand. Because the first World Cup, I remember I played 35 games, and CAF had almost played like 25 games. At least we had some game time. Coming back to number 4, I feel that now in the last couple of one days, KL was batting at 4. Sorry, KL was batting at 5, and there were 4 and 5 was always like Rishabh would come in. So I just feel that if you want a certain batsman to bat at number 4, so suppose they want KL Rahul to bat number 4, they have to give him, 15, 20 games at number 4, so that he's used to that position. Right now, suddenly he's come back from injury, scored 100. Yes, at number 4 he has. And I thought he looked better against Sri Lanka on a spring track when he scored like 38, 40 runs. For me, it's about not scoring runs. For me, it's about adapting to situation at number 4. So he's looking good right now. So I think they need to stick to KL at number 4. And let's see if that works out. Because for me, my biggest concern is that in quarterfinal, semi-final, final, I'm pretty sure that India is going to reach the last 4. Your big guys like Rohit and Virat, if they get out, if Shubman gets out in a big game, your number 4, 5, 6 have to fire. So they have to be prepared for it.
Who would be your 5, 6, 7? You got Hardik in the mix.
Yeah,
You got-
ideally, you would have. It would have been nice to have a left-hander because I was a left-hander. Then
Yeah.
Raina, me, Dhoni, and Raina would shuffle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I just feel that if KL is batting at 4, Ishan is doing well at 5, then I don't know. Shreyas had an injury, so I don't know why he was not playing because lefty-righty combination would have been perfect. And I think if Ishan is playing at 5, then you have Hardik at 6, and then you have 7, 8 at left-handers. So we have a really good left and right combination. But I think till number 4 we are set. I think the problem is, I think what they're facing is to bat Ishan Kishan at 5 or get Shreyas back. I think they have to figure that out. Ishan has been batting well at 5. He scored runs. Uh, didn't get runs in Sri Lanka, but he was, fighting it out. He was looking to rotate the strike. It was those wickets were not easy to bat, and I thought he's not someone who's just coming and slogging. As an opener, openers just come and slog, but he was something who was trying to rotate the strike. So I really
Yeah.
like that about him, that he was trying to adapt to that situation. So I guess, I think in the first 2, 3 games, they have to find their combination out.
I did interview Shastri. It was, I think in May. I think it was a cover story for us, and he was talking about. He said every World Cup winning squad, right from 75. They had 2 left-handers in the top 6, top 7. The 2 left-handers, which makes a big difference. Do you agree with that? Bats for 2 left-hand batsmen.
See, I definitely believe makes a difference, but I always believe that you have to go with your best 11.
Yeah.
Like in a T20 game, I understand you want to have a left-right combination because you're striking from both ends.
Yeah.
But in a 50-over game, you need to have your best playing 11.
Now, this is something similar because the last time India played the World Cup in India, obviously you guys won. But, you guys, I was speaking to a couple recently in Bangalore. Okay, so he was telling me, he came for some golf and he was telling me that, they are absolutely no pressure. They just went, have a good time, come back, they're going to play the tournament, that's it. There's absolutely no pressure, they are outside. But you guys had immense pressure. You guys had immense 2011. How did you handle that? How did you and your team handle that? And did you just cut certain things off, like, no papers, no this thing? And how is it going to be for this present team, 2020? Because there's similar situation, right? The pressure to get a World Cup, to win a World Cup.
I think, especially now, distractions a bit more. That time there was no social media.
Yeah.
That time, anyways, there was sort of distraction with the media and people, and so basically, what happened was we were talking about trying to focus on the game, and then
Right.
we were playing well in the World Cup, and we lost to South Africa, a game we should have won, and obviously the media started to go berserk, and I think Sachin sat down with the team and he said, like, we need to stop watching TV, we need to stop reading the papers, and probably use our headphones when we're going through crowds and airports. Let's just focus on the World Cup. So I think that was something really good that the team said, okay, we're going to do that. Just follow that, and it really worked. Because see, there's anyways so much pressure on you. Problem in India is like people think Indian team खेलने आई है, Indian team ही जीतेगी. So it's a big World Cup. There's so many good teams out there, and you got to be really focused on your task in hand.
Yeah. So taking that, what Sachin told you obviously is thing, but there's still, somehow or the other, like, couple was telling me in a different context. He said, when you get off a bus, so you're getting a guy coming to serve you tea in the morning, and he starts telling you, you're playing against Pakistan, you can't lose against. So those Sachin told you, wear your earphones and cut away from the media, there'll be those odd statements coming to you, right, all the time.
Yeah, it does. That's why use your pods and cut out the noise. Just cut out the noise out there and focus on your game. It's for a couple of guys, they might not play a World Cup again, and you really need to focus on winning this World Cup. I think rather than winning, need to be thinking of one game at a time. Focus on every game. What we try to do when we were playing the World Cup, and just be in a bubble. It's just a matter of a month and a half.
Yeah, the other thing, Yugi, was like, this entire thing. You know, you said for some people, maybe the last World Cup. The 2011 World Cup was win it for Sachin. Do you think this is going to be win it for Virat, win it for Rohit?
I mean, definitely the guys should push it that they want to wait for Virat and Rohit because you might not see them in another World Cup. So, and more, there might be somebody like a Mohammad Shami who might not play another World Cup. So, you got to win it for these guys. And, depending how, I mean, for me, my relationship with Sachin was like, it was very special. And I was like, I'm going to put my body on line for this guy, for Team India, for the country. I'm just gonna put my body on the line. So it depending, what thought process are you going through? Obviously, after 2011 World Cup and 2013 Champions Trophy, India has not won an ICC trophy in 10 years. So I'm sure that also must be in the back of their mind, right?
Right.
So there's gonna be pressure, and depends how it's just gonna be how they handle it.
So having said that, you talked about that, but then you also said this might be Virat's and Rohit's last World Cup. Shastri told me it's time to phase. He didn't mention the name, but he said time to phase out seniors from white ball cricket. When I was speaking to Roger Binney,
Trying to fade what that?
phase out seniors from white ball cricket, especially T20 and more so in 50 overs. But he said Test cricket still needs the seniors. Roger Binney says probably should have one or two seniors should still be there in the 50 overs format. Do you think it's time the 2020 the T20 World Cup coming up? Do you think some of these seniors will still be there, or it's time to slow after this World Cup? He's make them play more Test matches.
If Ravi Shastri is saying time to phase out the seniors, then somebody has to tell the seniors the real picture. Problem in Indian cricket is they don't tell the seniors what's happening with them, right?
Yeah.
When the seniors have given their heart and soul for the country, they need to be given that respect. Hey, listen, this is the hard truth. You might not be looked at, say, white ball cricket in the future or something like that because you have to groom the youngsters. And so the senior know where his career is at the moment. That's the problem in Indian cricket. They don't tell you where you are at. Maybe out of respect, maybe they don't want to face the reality. I think we have a really good selector now. The chairman who's played for India for a very long time, performed the highest level. I think he's someone who actually can bring in that difference of saying, like, listen, guys, that you've done exceptionally well for the country, but the reality is we have to test the young guys in white ball. Tell the guys where they are.
It's very important that past players are part of the administration of Indian cricket. In your opinion, according to many, do you agree with that?
I think the guys who really want to contribute towards Indian cricket and really want the cricket to grow up, the administration to do better, who love the game from the heart, should definitely be in the system. I think the board needs to identify that, and those are the guys should be in the system, not someone who's just got a big name.
If you were to pick the 4 teams that would make the semi-finals and the winner, just your prediction.
Prediction obviously is India, Australia. I would predict 5 teams actually, because 4 is always 8 team. There's always upset in the World Cup.
Yeah.
So India, Australia, New Zealand. India, Australia, New Zealand, England, and I just feel that last assumption I made was Pakistan, but I just feel South Africa is due. They need a white ball trophy. I would definitely go for them 5th.
Who do you think is the best all-rounder in the world today?
Well, there are lots of guys there. There's Mitchell Marsh, who's doing really well for Australia. He's been exceptional with the bat, bowls really well. There's Yuzvendra Chahal. So I think these two guys. Plus, I'm not watching too much cricket, so I don't know. I don't follow guys. There is yeah. So I'm not following too much cricket these days. I'm
Ben
too much
Stokes, I
into
think
golf.
Ben Stokes would
Ben
be there.
Stokes, of course. I would say the number one all-rounder in the world right now, who has come back. England has brought him back.
Since you wanted to end with Shubman, do you see Shubman as the next Virat, the next Sachin, or does that guy have a lot of potential? He's yet to be tested, really tested on international, like England and Australia, South Africa, where the bouncier pitches, seaming pitches. He's yet to prove himself there. But someone who comes from your state, you would know him better, and you know what it takes to succeed in the international level. Do you think Shubman has it?
After Tendulkar being the best player of his generation, then Virat Kohli, and now Steve Smith, Kane Williamson. Probably Virat Kohli, I would say, because of all formats, right?
Yeah.
Shubman Gill has the potential to be the best player of the generation, right? Without putting any pressure on him. Okay. The guy's attitude is like that. The guy, since looking at him when he was 19, 20, his attitude has been like that. He's been 4 times more hardworking than a normal guy since he was a young kid.
Yeah.
And whatever I worked with him, he can be the player of this era. Coming back to your question, Shubman Gill, when he was a young kid, has scored 91 in a test match in Australia, which India won the series.
Yeah.
He got 91 and he got two odd 50s on his first trip to Australia, which I'm not really sure how many players have done that in Australia on their first trip. Probably another one would be Virat Kohli. So Tendulkar, obviously, of that generation. So yes, he's not had good success in England because it's not easy batting in England. He's just a young kid. The way he is going, I have no doubt that he will score runs in Australia, South Africa, England. Look at his one-day graph. It's been exceptional. And the way he's going, I'm definitely sure that he will be one of the best players of this generation. And I want him to have a good World Cup. It's just that he right now is a stage where he's fearless. He is someone who can be the game changer in the World Cup because he can open up the game without the pressure. Like if you look at the game against Pakistan, he opened up the game. He put the bowlers on the back foot and then open it from the other batters.
Right. Do these kids come to you for advice, from the mental aspect and also like technique and all that? Do they come to you for advice? Or do these youngsters come to players like you, Sachin, MS? Do they come to you for advice, or is it?
Yeah, I think our seniors have always given us good advice every time we've gone up to them. And
Right.
I think every time guys come up to us, we always talk to them, tell them the mindset. See, I believe in a big tournament, it's not about technique. It's about mental toughness. It's about handling the pressure and absorbing the pressure.
Right.
You have to play the situation, right? You cannot play the expectation. Expectation always sixes and fours.
Yeah.
You have to play the situation. You have to absorb that pressure. If you can do that, you can play at any stage.
Right.
It's not about the technique. And I think Shubman is someone that I have been watching from a young kid, and I have worked with him also. But Shubman definitely is a prodigy of his father. His father has put day and night into his gym, like my father did. So
Yeah.
I have that. I see that with Shubman because his father has put in everything for him to play for India because obviously he's so talented. So I think we talk a lot whenever we get the time, and we see that how can we get. I share my experience with him, and he is a very quick learner. If I have a discussion with him, next game, he's just very quick to adapt. He's a smart guy. Why he's gone up in this group is because he's very quick to adapt, and he understands the game really well. Like somebody like Virat did since last generation when he was a young kid. I think Virat, when he came in before the World Cup, he scored Durban was a very quick wicket. He scored a 50, and then next came in, he scored a 90. He was batting on 95 and it rained. And I was like, this kid is like only 20, 21. And he just looks $1 million at this age. What is he going to do after 10 years? So, quite similarities.
Last question, UV. When Stuart Broad retired, did he call you and tell you, I had a very good international career, except for you who screwed it up to a certain extent?
See, I'm actually very happy for that guy, to be honest. You got to give it to him. The guy, his career started with people talking about his six sixes.
Yeah.
And he ends up with 600 test wickets as a legend of the game, right? I think that moment changed his career, I think, because from there he was like, okay, I'm going to probably show the world what I'm capable of, as he said in his interview, beast mode on, and how much work he has put into his bowling or cricket after that. And, taking 600 wickets is no joke. Trust me, you have to bowl for 20 years to achieve that kind of milestone.
Thanks so much, UV.
Nice talking to you, buddy.
Thanks so much, UV.